I dated a younger man, and I truly believed I was ready for it. I told myself age was just a number, that connection mattered more than years, that I was strong enough, experienced enough, and wise enough to handle whatever came my way. I was wrong. I wasn't ready for what awaited me, not even close. When I first met him, it wasn't supposed to be anything serious. He had that effortless confidence that younger men carry, the kind that doesn't come from experience but from believing the world is still wide open. He smiled easily, laughed loudly, and looked at me like I was something rare. Not something complicated. Not something too much. Just something he wanted. That look did something to me. I had spent years being practical, careful, responsible. I had learned how to guard my heart, how to control my emotions, how to choose stability over passion. So when he started texting me, when conversations stretched late into the night, I told myself it was harmless. Just talking. Just enjoying the attention. Just feeling alive again. He made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. At first, the age difference felt almost exciting. He admired my confidence, my independence, the way I knew what I wanted, or at least appeared to. He said I was different from women his age. More grounded. More real. And I won't lie, I liked hearing that. I liked being the one who had answers, the one who seemed unshaken, the one who had already survived heartbreak and come out stronger. What I didn't realize was that I was building an illusion. One where I was in control. As we grew closer, I noticed how intensely he felt everything. His emotions came fast and unfiltered. When he was happy, he was ecstatic. When he missed me, it consumed him. When he wanted me, there was no hesitation in his voice, no restraint in his words. It was intoxicating and terrifying. I told myself it was just youth. That passion would settle. That I could handle it. Then came the expectations. He didn't just want moments with me. He wanted all of me. My time, my attention, my presence in his future. He talked about plans so easily. Trips we'd take, lives we'd share, versions of us that existed years from now. And while part of me was flattered, another part of me felt something tighten in my chest. Because I wasn't living in the future. I was surviving the present. I had responsibilities he didn't fully understand. Scars I didn't talk about. A past that had taught me to hesitate, to question promises, to fear intensity disguised as love. When he looked at me, he saw possibility. When I looked at him, I saw risk. Till I stayed. I stayed because being with him made me forget my age, my doubts, my carefully constructed walls. With him I laughed more. I felt desired in a way that wasn't routine or predictable. He touched me like he was afraid to miss a single second, like I was temporary and precious at the same time. But passion doesn't erase reality. It only delays it. The cracks started to show in small ways. He wanted reassurance constantly while I needed space. He took my silence personally while I used it to breathe. He wanted answers I wasn't ready to give, and every time I hesitated, I could feel him pulling away just enough to protect himself. That's when the balance shifted. I was no longer the confident one. I was the one questioning. Wondering if I was leading him on, if I was being unfair, if my fear was slowly hurting someone who only knew how to love openly. And guilt has a way of making you stay longer than you should. I tried to explain myself, but how do you explain to someone younger that love isn't always enough? That chemistry doesn't automatically mean compatibility? That sometimes being ready has nothing to do with desire and everything to do with emotional timing? He listened, but he didn't understand. Not really. To him, my doubts felt like rejection. My caution felt like distance. And the more he tried to pull me closer, the more I felt myself retreat. I hated that version of me. The one who couldn't fully give. The one who kept holding back even when everything felt intense and real. Then came the moment that changed everything. We had an argument. Nothing dramatic at first. Just words that carried too much weight. He accused me of never fully choosing him. I accused him of not understanding my reality. And in that moment I saw it clearly. Not just the age gap but the emotional gap. The life experience gap. The difference between wanting love and being ready to live with it. I realized something painful. I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of myself. Afraid that if I let go completely I'd lose the life I had built. Afraid that if it didn't work the fall would be harder than I could handle. Afraid that loving someone who still had so much to discover would mean losing parts of myself in the process. And he deserved someone who could meet his love without hesitation. So did I. Walking away wasn't easy. It felt like betrayal, to him and to the version of myself that had believed this could work. When we said goodbye, there were no villains, no dramatic endings. Just two people standing at different points in life, wanting the same feeling but needing different things. He taught me that desire doesn't fade with age. That my heart was still capable of excitement, connection, and intensity. But he also taught me that readiness isn't about how much you feel. It's about whether you can carry the weight of what those feelings demand. I dated a younger man thinking I was strong enough to handle it. What I discovered was deeper, quieter, and far more honest. I wasn't ready, not for his expectations, not for the future he imagined, and not for the version of myself I would have had to become to stay. And that realization hurt more than the goodbye. Because sometimes the hardest lesson isn't about love failing. It's about understanding yourself before someone else gets hurt.